You may have heard me say, I won't write a food plan. And that's because they won't help you. They're expensive, complicated, and full of way too many net carbs. But everyone wants to know, especially beginners, what do you eat on a ketogenic diet? So I'm breaking my word and giving you a day's menu of keto eating on a keto budget. I love a challenge, so let's see if I can keep it under $5. So first off, my aversion to giving you a menu isn't because you can't find good ideas. It's that it's better to teach you how to think through your food choices than just give you a mindless list to follow. So here's the rules that I teach my patients to think about as they put food in their mouth. Number one, is it nutrient dense? This is the reason that I chirp about sardines on the menu. They are whole foods, they are nutrient dense, and your body can absorb those minerals and vitamins so much better. I know folks think that the best minerals and vitamins come from fruits and vegetables, but especially if you've been around the sun enough times, your gut is very inefficient at absorbing that. Number two is to keep the food low carb. Yeah, this is total carbohydrates that you're counting, not net carbs. Don't play that game, especially when you get into more of the processed ketogenic foods. They use lots of tricks to get that ketogenic word at the top of their title, but it isn't keto inside your body. Adding up total carbohydrates is a bit tricky at first, but do this for a week and it really becomes simplified. And number three is high fat content. If you do not eat fat on a ketogenic diet, you're just starving. I encourage you to Google the rabbit diet when we're done with this video. You'll find that high protein, no fat diet starved the patient. Literally, they starved to death. Keto burns fat for fuel. We need you to eat fat to not only get your metabolism going in the right direction, but to also suppress that hunger and keep you on the diet. I have a comprehensive online course that teaches you not just how to think through these foods, but how to stay consistently keto. All right, now back to our challenge. First part of the day is coffee. If you know me, that's a given. Coffee has a decent amount of B vitamins, some polyphenols, a little magnesium, and some potassium. But mostly, I just love the taste of coffee. My newbies, I encourage them to put heavy cream in their coffee and begin their morning with a fat-filled cup of coffee. The good news, we don't count any carbs in that. I like Redmond's salt in my coffee. This becomes really important the longer you become keto. We're on a budget, so pick whatever salt's in the cupboard, but don't skip the salt. For breakfast, we get to use the hero eggs. Take 6 eggs, a tablespoon of butter, and scramble them up. If you need to add vegetables, you can add some frozen spinach there. Take that cheese, the block of cheddar cheese I found as the cheapest, and instead of having to count that potato starch that's found on shredded cheese, I want you to shred your own. Shredded cheese found in the grocery store is coated with potato starch. So skip those carbs, shred the cheese on your own, and count that as a very ketogenic beginning to your day. If you need a little more food for breakfast, you can add a can of sardines. Let's move on to lunch. Now, I don't believe in 3 meals a day, so let's keep lunch light. I tried to add Frank's to the menu, but I just couldn't do it. Yes, they're processed, but they also have a ton of carbs no matter which brand I looked at. So let's move to that high-fat, low-carb, and better-tasting bratwurst. With so few carbs per bite, you can have 2 bratwursts for lunch. Now, you'll want mustard because ketchup is filled with sugar and we don't allow that here. And then I like to add sauerkraut. That fermented food does have a few carbohydrates, but I'll tell you, the longer I've been ketogenic, the better I think the taste of fermented foods has become. The nutrients found in them is undeniable, but it also comes with a better ability to absorb fat. All right, now for supper. Chicken wings win with 0 carbs. Yes, you can buy them at a great price, and then you're gonna add the things that don't add the carbohydrates. That means some of those sauces with honey in it are off the list. Instead, some salt and pepper, maybe a spicy rub. The air fryer will crisp them up really nicely, and they are very satisfying. If wings are too much fuss, you can simplify this by adding ground beef, but it's gonna destroy our budget a little bit. So I encourage you to at least try having wings at home. I recommend a blue cheese sauce, and although you can probably get a pretty good sauce for $2, I recommend making one. Take some sour cream and that blue cheese, and then grab the brine from that sauerkraut and mix it up. It is fantastic. If you want to be a little less carnivore, add some celery sticks, and you can dip all of those in that blue cheese. It's a great meal. Now, if you're new to keto, you might be horrified by how fatty this list of foods is. But I guarantee that you will be in a state of ketosis in the next 3 days if you stick to the course of something like this. You can spice up the budget by having grass-fed, organic foods, but either of those high-fat meals are going to reduce the inflammation. And this is the reason I am such an advocate for the ketogenic diet. The patients that line my exam rooms for years in this internal medicine clinic are suffering from chronic inflammation. And it's diets like this that reduce it and keep them out of my waiting room. While we tally up how much this day cost us, I will warn you that this is a menu for a newbie. And most people who've been on that ketogenic diet for weeks and months, well, they have less hunger. They eat less food. So you might be able to cut the budget by about 1/3 when we get to the end. This online course is what I use to teach my patients how to stay consistently keto, how to get to that budget that's about 1/3 less than the one we're tallying up because their volume of food is less. They don't believe me at the beginning, but if you follow how to stay consistently keto, you too can be improving your health one ketone at a time and reversing those medical problems. I'll see you inside the course.